Hi, my name is Diana Romanovska, and today I will show you how to fill out Form FL-100, the divorce petition. This is the first form you will need in order to start your divorce. It applies equally to those who are married and those who are domestic partners. I will use the terms marriage and the spouse throughout the video, but the same instructions will apply to those who are partners. This video is for the people who do not have an attorney and where no paperwork has been filed to start a divorce. First, you will find a box labeled Attorney or Party Without Attorney. Provide your name and address. Where domestic violence is involved, you may be able to keep your address confidential. Please talk to an attorney or someone at your local courthouse to get more information if you want to keep your address confidential. Next, provide your telephone number. You may also provide your email address. Where it says attorney for, you write improper or self-represented. This lets the court know you do not have an attorney. Where it says petitioner, you put your name. The respondent is your spouse. This means that you are the person initiating the divorce, while your spouse is the person responding. If you're filing for divorce, check the dissolution box. If you want a legal separation, check that box. Nullity, which is getting a marriage annulled, is rare, and if that applies to you, please speak with an attorney. I covered the differences between legal separation and divorce in another video. If you're married, check the box. Check the marriage box. If you're domestic partners, check that box. Item 1. Check the appropriate boxes for your relationship. Item 2. If you have lived in California for at least 6 months and your county for at least 3 months, check box A. If you have not, see an attorney for your options. Option B is for same-sex couples who are married in California but can get divorced where they live now. Option C is for couples who became domestic partners but do not live here. Item 3. Give the date you are married, then provide the date of separation. For example, many people use this date that one spouse moved out of a shared residence. Then calculate how long you were married and fill that in. Item 4. If your children are over 18 and come from a relationship prior to your marriage, check box A and skip the rest of the section as well as items 6 and 7. If you have children from your marriage who are under the age of 18, you need to fill this section out. Give the full names and birthdays of your children along with their age and sex. If you or your spouse is pregnant, check box B2. If you have more than 4 children, continue the list on a separate piece of paper labeled with what item you are answering. If you and your spouse sign a document called a voluntary declaration of paternity at the time of your child was born, check box D. This is most common for couples who had children prior to marrying. Item 5. Most people use Part A. If you think Parts B or C apply to you, please talk to an attorney. For Part A, check the appropriate box for divorce or legal separation. Most people use irreconcilable differences as their reason for the split. If you think that permanent incapacity to make decisions applies, please talk to an attorney. Item 6. Legal custody over children is the right to make decisions for them, such as they will go to school, medical decisions, and religious decisions. Physical custody is where the children primarily live. Sole legal custody means that parent gets to make decisions by themselves without having to have an agreement of the other parent. Sole physical custody means that the children live with that parent. Joint custody means that both parents share in decision-making or where the child lives. Check the boxes that represent what you would like to have happen while the divorce is going on and when it is over. Child visitation is the time that the other parent will spend with the children. You will still need to work out when the child spends time with each parent. I discuss visitation more in another video. 7. This section is to provide you with information about what to expect the court to do relating to child support. I discuss child support in more detail in another video. Item 7. Spousal support is what is sometimes referred to as alimony. This is money paid by one spouse to another to help them maintain their standard of living and support themselves. I discuss spousal support more in another video. Part A. Let's ask you to have support paid to you or your spouse. Part B asks the court to end its ability to give support to you or your spouse. Part C asks court to leave the issue of support to be determined later on. If you want to ask for support, if you don't want the court to be able to give your spouse support, check the respondent box in Part B. Item 9 and 10. Separate property is property that you or your spouse own individually. This is likely to be property and income from before your marriage or from after your date of separation. Community property is property that is part of your marriage. This is likely to be property and income from during your marriage. This includes property located outside of California. If there is a minimal property to be listed for either category, put it on this form. If there is more, use Form FL-160 covered in a separate video. Another option is to put to be determined. This gives you more time to figure it out what property you have and how it should be categorized. If you want your spouse to pay for your attorney's fees, here's where you ask. If you change your name when you're married, you can ask to have it restored to your previous name here. And finally, item 12. This is where you will sign the petition. Please be sure to read the summons, FL-110, because it contains limitations on what you're able to do with property, assets, and income, and about moving your children once you file for divorce. It is very important that you read this form thoroughly. Please also be sure to read the notices at the bottom of item 12, which contains important information about what may happen once you file for divorce. And that's all about how to fill out FL-100. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, 415-347-0584, and I can give you 20 minutes of free consultation.